A slim young adult novel, Flipped has sold over 1 million copies worldwide and touched countless hearts through its film adaptation. Why does Flipped resonate so deeply, making readers laugh and cry while seeing themselves in its pages? Life often presents two scenarios: the heart-pounding thrill of a crush and the realization that action speaks louder than feelings. Flip tells the story of Bryce Loski and Juli Baker, whose budding romance in adolescence reflects the pains of growing up and the essence of love. What makes this book so captivating? Let's step into their story and uncover the secrets beneath the sycamore tree. The era and the town, a canvas of youth. The story unfolds in a small American town from the late 1950s to the early 1960s, when post-war prosperity fueled the rise of the middle class. Suburban life, with its TVs, cars, and manicured lawns, symbolize the American dream. Yet beneath this polished surface, teenagers grappled with questions of identity. Wendelin Van Draanen's delicate prose places Bryce and Juli in this era, capturing the confusion and awakening of youth. The Loski family epitomizes the typical middle-class household. Bryce's father is an engineer, his mother a homemaker, both valuing propriety and convention. In contrast, Juli's family struggles financially, with her painter father fostering a free-spirited, artistic home. This social divide creates tension and conflict in their relationship. During this period, teen culture was booming in America. By the late 1950s, teenagers made up 15% of the U.S. population, their spending habits driving the rise of rock and roll and youth films like Rebel Without a Cause, which mirrored their restlessness and rebellion. Bryce's conformity and Juli's free spirit reflect the era's dynamics. School dances, neighborly gossip, and street corner scenes paint a vivid picture of teenage life. Beneath the town's quiet facade lies an obsession with normalcy and a subtle rejection of difference. Juli's uniqueness clashes with Bryce's desire to fit in, embodying this social tension. Through nuanced descriptions, the author shows how the era shapes individuals. For instance, the Loski's orderly weekly family dinners symbolize middle-class norms, while Juli's chaotic yet warm household brims with creativity. This contrast drives the plot and highlights the different choices teens make under societal pressure. Juli's father teaches her to confront hardship through art, while Bryce's father passes down worldly prejudices. These dynamics set the stage for their evolving relationship and personal growth. The town's close-knit yet judgmental neighborly TIs further shape their interactions. The Loskis live on a pristine street where every family strives for a perfect image, but Juli's rundown yard and scattered art supplies spark gossip. This culture of judgment makes Bryce subconsciously distance himself from Juli, fearing the weirdo label. Meanwhile, Juli embraces her uniqueness, openly sharing her love for raising chickens or climbing trees, which both intrigues and unsettles Bryce. The monotony of small-town life also fuels teenage rebellion. In the 1950s, American teens expressed themselves through music, fashion, and social events. The annual school spring dance becomes a stage for Bryce and Juli to navigate their identities and pressures. Bryce avoids Juli at the dance, partly fearing peer mockery, while Juli boldly asks him to dance, defying social norms. This echoes the era's youth culture, like Elvis Presley's rock and roll revolution, which sparked a rebellious spirit. Juli's free-spirited attitude aligns with this cultural shift, representing a bold break from conformity. Economic disparities also loom large in the town, creating an invisible barrier between the two. Bryce's stable family takes material comfort for granted, while Juli's financial struggles teach her to value every resource. She shares eggs from her chickens as gifts, a gesture of kindness and a way to cope with her family's hardships. In contrast, Bryce's father views Juli's poverty as inferior, a bias that shapes Bryce's early attitude. Sociologist Pierre Bourdieu's theory of cultural capital explains this. The middle class reinforces status through normalized lifestyles, often marginalizing those on the fringes. Juli's persistence challenges this exclusion. Bryce's fog, from avoidance to acceptance. Bryce Loski, the story's male protagonist, is a typical 7th grader whose first-person narrative reveals a boy shaped by societal expectations. When he first meets Juli, her enthusiasm overwhelms him, and he recoils from her weirdness, climbing trees, raising chickens, and her messy yard. His reactions stem from insecurity, influenced by his father's sarcasm and peer pressure at school. He judges others by normal standards, and Juli's differences make him uneasy. Bryce's growth begins with misunderstanding. He secretly discards Juli's eggs out of disdain, only to feel guilt upon learning of her family's struggles. When Juli's beloved sycamore tree is cut down, her tears stir something in him. His transformation is gradual, marked by small moments, like choosing to talk to Juli at the school dance instead of following the crowd. Ultimately, he plants a new tree in her yard, symbolizing his shift from avoidance to acceptance. Psychologist Erik Erikson's theory sheds light on Bryce's journey. Adolescence is a battle between identity and role confusion, where teens define themselves through external validation but grow by finding their own standards. Bryce's father represents societal norms, teaching him to judge differences, while his grandfather guides him toward inner values. This family conflict helps Bryce find himself. From initial shyness to planting the tree, Bryce moves out of his fog, learning to embrace and respect others. His journey echoes Holden Caulfield in G.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye, who also wrestles with societal norms and finds clarity through personal connections. Bryce's growth depends on his interactions with Juli, each hesitation and decision a step toward self-discovery. Sitting next to Juli in the cafeteria, despite his friends' teasing, shows his courage to break free from social pressures. This courage isn't innate but grows through his clashes with Juli. Bryce's arc reflects the universal struggle of teens navigating societal expectations. His hesitation stems from confusion about masculinity. In 1950s America, boys were expected to be stoic and rational, with emotions seen as weakness. Bryce avoids Juli's enthusiasm, partly because he's unsure how to handle his feelings. His father, Stephen, reinforces this stereotype, warning him not to let a girl lead you around. This advice leaves Bryce torn. He's drawn to Juli's vibrancy but fears seeming uncool. School amplifies this pressure, with friends like Garrett using mockery to enforce social hierarchies. When Juli tries to connect with Bryce, Garrett's taunts push him to pull back. For example, when Juli shares her chicken-raising project in science class, the class laughs, and Bryce joins in to hide his discomfort. This conformity helps him fit in, but costs him a chance to connect with Juli. A turning point comes in a conversation with his grandfather, Chet. Chet, a mentor and emotional guide, shares a story of losing a friend due to fear of judgment, urging Bryce to face his true feelings. He asks, "Do you really think Juli's weird, or are you just scared she's too special?" This question sparks Bryce's self-reflection. Psychologist Albert Bandura's social learning theory suggests behavior is shaped by role models. Chet's positive influence helps Bryce break free from his father's biases, opening his mind to Juli. Bryce's growth also shows in his growing sense of responsibility. After the egg incident, he recognizes the pain he caused Juli. Choosing to sit with her in the cafeteria, despite potential ridicule, marks his shift from passivity to action. Psychologist Philip Zimbardo's research on teen behavior highlights that adolescence is about learning to own one's choices. Through small acts, Bryce sheds conformity and finds his own courage. Juli's courage, from pursuit to independence. Juli Baker, the heart of Flipped, narrates alongside Bryce, offering a vivid contrast. Her passion and sensitivity shine as she climbs the sycamore tree to see the world anew, or tends her chickens in yard with love for life. Yet her courage comes with pain. Bryce's rejection, the loss of her tree, and her family's financial struggles teach her to protect herself. Juli's growth moves from innocent infatuation to self-awareness. She first falls for Bryce's blue eyes, but his coldness prompts reflection. Guided by her father, she learns to see people holistically beyond appearances. She notices Bryce's father's polished but empathy-lacking demeanor, while his grandfather radiates wisdom. This insight shifts her from blind pursuit to independence, letting go of her fixation on Bryce to focus on herself. Juli's story recalls Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani teen who fought for education rights despite threats. Though Juli faces less extreme challenges, her resilience mirrors Malala's. By fixing her yard and sharing eggs, she defies stereotypes about her family. Her father says, "Some people are shallow, others are all shine and no substance, but one day, you'll meet someone as radiant as a rainbow." This captures her hopes for Bryce and her quest for self-worth. Juli's growth also lies in embracing her family's reality. Once ashamed of their poverty, she learns through her father that their chaotic home reflects creativity, not failure. This perspective helps her face Bryce's indifference with dignity. Her independence isn't coldness but a balance of love and self-respect, making her whole. Juli's arc is also a rebellion against societal expectations. In 1950s America, girls were expected to be gentle and compliant, but Juli's boldness defies this mold. Climbing the sycamore tree is both a personal passion and a challenge to gender norms. At school, she's criticized for refusing skirts, yet sticks to her beloved jeans, asserting her identity. Her father, Richard, an artist, nurtures her courage with unconventional thinking. He once showed her the town's starry sky, saying, "The world is big, but your heart can be bigger." This mindset helps Juli stand firm against prejudice. Fixing her yard proves her family's worth to the neighborhood. Her actions echo anthropologist Margaret Mead's coming of age in Samoa, which argues teens establish themselves by challenging norms. Juli redefines her place through action. Her emotional journey teaches her boundaries. Initially, she sees Bryce as rainbow, pouring her heart into him. His indifference prompts her to question her feelings' worth. In her diary, she writes, "I love his eyes, but that's just the start, not the whole." This reflection shifts her from chasing to self-examination. Psychologist Carol Gilligan's Ethics of Care suggests girls often define themselves through relationships, but growth lies in balancing care for others with self-respect. Juli embodies this shift. Her persistence influences others, like neighbor Mrs. Marion, who softens her judgment after seeing Juli's efforts and sends a basket of fruit in thanks. This mirrors civil rights activist Diane Nash, whose nonviolent protests shifted community views on race. Juli's small actions, though not historic, show an individual's power to change their world. The sycamore tree, a symbol of youth. The sycamore tree is the heart of Flipped, a constant presence. It's Juli's sanctuary and a witness to her bond with Bryce. From its branches, Juli sees the whole greater than its parts, symbolizing her unique view of life. Bryce initially can't grasp this perspective, only understanding its value after the tree is cut down. The tree's fall and rebirth mirror the losses and hopes of adolescence. Psychologically, the tree aligns with Maslow's self-actualization, as Juli seeks meaning beyond the everyday, and Bryce grows to appreciate her pursuit. After the tree is cut, he plants a new one for her, symbolizing their relationship's renewal and the path from pain to maturity. Juli's view from the tree offers a broad perspective, keeping her hopeful in hardship. Another key symbol is the eggs. Juli's gift of eggs to Bryce reflects her sincerity, but his rejection, driven by prejudice, hurts her. This sparks his self-reflection, much like O. Henry's The Gift of the Magi, where love's selflessness meets misunderstanding's cost. Though discarded, Juli's persistence awakens Bryce's conscience. When they plant the new tree together, the egg's pain gives way to hope, symbolizing understanding and reconciliation. The tree and eggs capture adolescence's duality, a starting point for dreams and a test of reality. The tree's destruction reflects society's pressure on individuals, while Bryce's awakening shows the potential to break free. These symbols drive the plot and deepen the story's emotional resonance. The tree and eggs tie to adolescent psychology. Juli's whole greater than parts view reflects Gestalt psychology, where integrating fragments leads to deeper understanding. This perspective helps Juli find hope in challenges. After learning Bryce discarded her eggs, she doesn't wallow but re-examines her feelings. This resilience anchors her through adolescence's storms. The eggs deepen the theme of love, as Juli's sharing reflects her care for her community. Bryce's rejection teaches her that love requires mutual respect. Psychologist Brené Brown, in The Power of Vulnerability, notes true connection rests on acceptance and authenticity. Juli learns this, choosing self-respect over pleasing Bryce. The tree's loss symbolizes adolescence's inevitable grief. Juli writes, "I thought I'd lose that feeling forever, but maybe I can create it myself." This reflects her shift from external reliance to inner strength. Bryce's new tree is both a response to her emotions and an acknowledgement of his responsibility. This mutual growth elevates the tree from a personal symbol to a bridge for their relationship. Real-world parallels, like Andy Warhol's pop art, which gave everyday items like soup cans deeper meaning, enhance understanding. Juli's eggs and tree, as story props, carry the emotional weight of youth. These symbols make Flipped a simple yet profound tale of emotional resonance. The subtlety of love, from infatuation to understanding. At its core, Flipped is about first love and adolescence, but it transcends romance to explore how love fuels growth. Bryce and Juli's relationship evolves from one-sided pursuit to mutual understanding, revealing love's complexity. Juli's affection starts with instinct but grows rational, while Bryce moves from avoidance to taking responsibility for his feelings. Their story unveils love's essence, not just butterflies, but mutual growth. Their romance reflects adolescence's exploration of intimacy. Juli's bold pursuit shows emotional bravery, but Bryce's coldness teaches her self-protection. Bryce, through hesitation and guilt, learns love's responsibilities. For instance, learning of Juli's pain over the sycamore tree prompts him to reflect on his actions. This leads him to talk to her in the cafeteria, breaking his conformity barrier. Their dynamic recalls psychologist Eric Berne's transactional analysis, which emphasizes complementary roles in relationships. Juli's giving and Bryce's responding shift their bond from imbalance to harmony. Like Noah and Allie and Nicholas Sparks' The Notebook, who grow through misunderstanding, Bryce and Juli's tender story shows how love drives growth through conflict and resolution. Psychologist John Bowlby's attachment theory illuminates their dynamic. Juli's secure attachment fuels her emotional openness, while Bryce's avoidant attachment, shaped by family and society, makes him fear closeness. Their growth lies in balancing instinct and reason. Juli, guided by her father, adopts a whole greater than parts view, while Bryce learns to listen through his grandfather's wisdom. A memorable line captures this: "Some are shallow, others all shine and no substance, but one day, you'll meet someone radiant as a rainbow." This sums up love's ideal and the need for growth. Psychologist Robert Sternberg's triangular theory of love, passion, intimacy, and commitment explains their arc. Juli starts with passion, Bryce lacks intimacy, but both grow toward closeness and commitment. Their open-ended story reflects the reality of teen love, a journey of learning, not a final destination. Love shines in small gestures. Juli's dreams woven for Bryce, his new tree for her, acts that speak louder than words. Like Romeo and Juliet, whose tragic love showed devotion through action, Flipped's light yet profound story teaches love as a path to growth. The cost of growth, from prejudice to acceptance. Growth is a central theme in Flipped, as Bryce and Juli confront prejudice and misunderstanding. Bryce's biases, rooted in family and society, lead him to see Juli as weird for not fitting middle-class norms. Juli faces discrimination for her family's economic struggles but proves her worth through action. Their growth lies in embracing differences and overcoming prejudice. Bryce's father, materialistic, teaches him to judge Juli's family, while his grandfather's wisdom points him toward inner values. Juli's father, though poor, nurtures her soul with art. These family contrasts highlight growth's environmental roots. Bryce moves from following his father's biases to planting a tree, embracing inner values. Juli, through fixing her yard and sharing eggs, shatters stereotypes about her family. Nelson Mandela's journey, overcoming racial prejudice through education and reflection, parallels Juli's resilience in defying bias to maintain dignity. Bryce learns to listen through Juli and his grandfather, understanding her inner world. Growth's cost includes emotional trials. Juli's hurt from Bryce's rejection teaches her self-protection. His guilt pushes him to reach out. Psychologist Carl Rogers sees growth as becoming oneself. Through their clashes, Juli and Bryce become truer selves. Their story shows growth isn't painless but comes from facing misunderstanding and hurt. Growth also involves redefining identity. Bryce questions his father's biases, seeing they stem from insecurity, not truth. Planting the tree is both atonement and a stand for his own values. Juli shifts from seeking approval to inner confidence, presenting her chicken project at a science fair despite mockery, earning respect. Psychologist Mary Piffer, in Reviving Ophelia, notes teen girls often suppress themselves under societal pressure, but growth lies in reclaiming their voice. Juli's courage inspires Bryce and offers readers a model of growth. Teen activist Greta Thunberg, challenging biases through environmental action, mirrors this power. Epilogue: The Timelessness of Flipped. Flipped is more than a young adult novel. It's a mirror of growth and love. Bryce and Juli's story shows that adolescence's confusion and pain are stepping stones to maturity. The sycamore tree falls and rises again, symbolizing hope's endurance. The eggs, discarded then valued, reflect hard-won understanding. Their love, though not fully realized, paves the way for growth. The book's magic lies in its simple yet profound emotional depth. Whether you cry for Juli's courage or smile at Bryce's awakening, you'll find yourself under that sycamore tree. As the author writes in the afterword, we all seek someone who makes our heart skip, but the real discovery is learning to love ourselves. Let Bryce and Juli's story inspire you to embrace your own youth and growth.